Dear Missoulian, my name is Borris Soukonnikov. I live in Missoula more than 6 years, and why I came to this TV? Because yesterday, it's December 4th, I go to university for one of the presidential lecture, which I like very much. But this time lecture was about relationship among Russia, Ukraine, and the United States. Lecture, it's professor from Southern California, Richard English. Because I'm Ukrainian and I'm Jewish, it's interesting me very much, but I did prepare myself. I would like to maybe hear new point of view. Beginning of this lecture was a little bit unusual for me, but when it's finished, I was shocked because it was no lecture, but it's completely pro-Russian propaganda. And I explain you everything in detail. When I watch Russian TV, it's all agreement what this professor bring here, I hear. He only didn't say the Ukrainian crucified 10 years old boy, like Russian TV, then Ukrainian not eat child, and not each Ukrainian who was in battle get 2 slaves. Everything else, it was repeated Russian TV. I begin from professor's evaluation what happened before Ukraine in another former Russian republic. One of the Moldova, when Russian army came to Moldova's area where is a Russian-speaking people, and said it was conflict and we came not like military but like a peacemaker. Professor did say that for this reason, for peacemaker, United Nations has special forces and they could be used. Because if any country begin to decide when this country want to be peacemaker, it was no international law, and it's breaking all rule which country keep. Second, he began to talk about Georgia, and he explained that Georgia has very high nationalist level at this time. He a little bit mentioned Hamza-Hurdia, first president, and after this Shevardnadze, well known. But he didn't mention that before this conflict began, Russian citizens, and particularly from Chechnya, at this time, Russia has good relationship with Chechnya, it's part of Russia. And particularly Basayev, a later very famous terrorist who fight Russia, but this time he was with Russia, and he was sent Russian government with big amount of people, team, well equipped, and what they do, they make terror on territory former part of the Georgia, Abkhazia. They begin to kill ethnic Georgian and play in soccer with their heads. Lecture, forget about this. He said only situation with nationalists, and this push Russia to enter her army in 3 parts of Georgia: Abkhazia, Ossetia, and Adjaria. Later, after this, Russia began to build railway from Russia to Georgia, and this they built several years. When it's finished, by this railway coming all army logistic, heavy tank, artillery, and so. So, as you can see, preparation for war was very long. And this is not like suddenly something happened. When President became Saakashvili, he made quickly and very successful reforms. Who knows Georgia before and who knows Georgia after, let's say 2 years Saakashvili presidency, cannot to believe what happened. Georgia became completely incorrupted. In former Soviet Union, Georgia was most corrupted republic. This completely no. All policemen was changed. Even when Saakashvili, not president, lost this, nobody blamed that his government corrupted, even though. And country became very pretty, and people who come there ask themselves, why this country, which has no sources, doing much better than Russia, who has a lot of sources. It was built a lot of highway and routes. They rebuilt big city, reconstruction. It was obviously that money works. And foreign country began to invest in Georgia. This is a not good example from Russia. What Russia is doing? They bring wagon of Russian passports and begin to give everybody in this Abkhazia, Ossetia, and Adjaria. After this, they said, we are not simply peacemaker, but we defend our citizen. That's what happened. Adjaria choose another way. Very easy, they said goodbye their president, and they begin to be together with Georgia. If you come now and you see this Adjaria before, you couldn't believe how beautiful this part of Georgia now. Ossetia, on her territory was a lot of ethnic Georgian, many villages, and they begin to kill them, even sometimes like massacre. They all the time begin to shoot Georgian soldier on the border. they provoke Georgian in any possible way. I don't say Saakashvili make right, but if Saakashvili did nothing, it's impossible to avoid this war. Like First World War II. Everybody want to stop, but mechanism is going. So all Russian army mobilized. Unfortunately, yes, I'm not sure 100%, but very possible that Saakashvili put his army in Ossetia. And this provoked terrible answer. Respectful lecturer forgot this history. He simply said, Moldavia provoked Russian, Georgia provoked Russian, United States provoked Russian because they doesn't agree with Georgia part annexion. And I asked him, it looks like some rape women's, and he explained them because they are in erotic clothes or special makeup. So he is absolutely innocent. But I keep silent. This is could be this lecture opinion. Next step, he began to explain why Russia did what they did. He said, in Ukraine, it's a huge amount of nationalists, and especially terrible nationalists. It's Freedom Party and another right sector. They catch big part of parliament and in many ministries, so they prevail in Ukraine, and it's make Russia scary. I cannot keep silent. I ask lecturer, could you tell me how many representatives of Freedom Party and Right Sector Party in parliament now? Answer is, I don't know. I said, I know. Freedom Party has 0 representative. Right Sector Party has 2 representatives. Nobody from them has nobody in any ministry. This is what you say. It's not opinion. This is a lie. For what reason? No answer. After this, he began to talk about when was Maidan situation. Pro-Ukrainian nationalists pulled fire on Union building on the street where were pro-Russian people. And they almost in fire. And I interrupt him again. Because Union building, it was in the area where was Maidan people. And many of them was wounded. And this building they use like a hospital. This Maidan people was there. They have no reason to put fire for their people. And they made anything possible to save this building. It's not happened, or save these people. Obviously, that bear could put fire, and it was videos on this building. This is a nothing with Ukrainian people. When I listened to him, he explained that it's not Ukrainian people. This is an organized Europe and United States. I would like to say two. Episode number 1. For several days in Kiev, which has population maybe 2.5, 3 million, not more. It was count officially with government this time. Came for the meeting 1.2 million people. Okay? And it was this time terrible cold weather, almost more than months. Second, when it's happened about noon, when government snipers begin to kill people from roofs, and people begin to fall down, kill it. It was killed close to 100 people. How you think reaction of Kiev citizens? And how to be reaction if people doing this for money? Reaction next from all pieces of Kiev, some on the car, some on the trolley bus, some on the bus, some on the subway. People go to Maidan more and more. They continue to kill them and people go there. Who will do this for money? Okay, next step. To demonstrate how nationalists are Ukrainian, he shows us picture where men with swastika and people with some flag. I look and I tell him, this is a Donetsk Republic. This is a Donetsk city, because this is a flag of Donetsk Republic. It was a surprise for him. For what reason? This is an absolutely lie. For what reason? This is not opinion. This is absolutely nothing. After this, he began to explain that Putin didn't do anything bad. It's anybody to do this. He forgot one thing. Clean pattern how to did Hitler. First, he catch Austria. And in Austria was referendum. This referendum were under machine gun and all Austrian citizens vote yes. What happened is in Crimea? Because lecture said it was a referendum in Crimea. Russian army came without only chevrons and blocked all Ukrainian military bases. And from beginning, Putin lied that it's no soldier, Russian soldier there. Lecture could watch Russian TV, and it was shown internationally. Later, he said, yes, we support somehow. And recently he said, of course we have our army there. After this, some came pro-Russian and Russian people, and they organized a referendum in 2 weeks. What could be preparation for this referendum? How they can, when everywhere people with machine gun, pistol, and everything, exactly like in Austria. Yes. Maybe lecturer don't have this information. In this case, for what he is lecturing, he is specialist. If this lecturer listen Putin's speech about Crimea annexion, he will be surprised that more than 60% of this speech exactly Hitler's speech after they catch Sudeti from Czechoslovakia. More than 60%. It's not quote, it's nothing, and simply sentences by sentences. What else you need? He create from Russia, maybe a little bit more from 1 year, of course, long time preparation, but he create absolutely dictator's state, and all this pattern follow Hitler's Germany pattern. We defend our citizen, we defend Russian speaker, we defend so and so. Even Brzezinski recently, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, make a joke. Maybe soon Russia came to Brighton Beach because there are many Russian speakers. Let's say next reason of a lecture, what happened in Ukraine. In Ukraine, what happened is because terrible law about Ukrainian and Russian language. Does he read this law? I don't think so. Because law say, you can check, law say Ukraine has one official state language. In any area could be local language you can use in school, in official places, in anywhere. It's only different. It's not state language. It could be not only Russian language. It could be Tatar language who in Crimea. It could be Gagauz language. It could be Jewish language. And please, there exist. I said you more. If dear lecture look Russian army and volunteers some battalion, much more Russian speaker is there in Ukrainian army. in Ukrainian volunteer. This is a Russian speakers. Never in Ukraine somebody tell on the street, nobody can say something if you speak Russian or Ukrainian. In most part of Ukraine, even in West Ukraine, people bilingual, at least Russian in Ukraine. It was no any problem with this, except this problem created Russia. Russia mass media work very hard because this Donbass area has border with Russia, and it's easier to watch Russian TV, radio, and so than Ukrainian. It was many additional problem. I cannot to say Ukrainian okay everywhere, but problems which lecturer said it's absolutely not true. I don't understand what's the goal. My assumption, as far as I know, that Russia gave several, maybe 19 or $100 million to create a lobby in the United States, and they work hard. What could I say about Putin? I mentioned Hitler's speech. More Russian TV begin to say Hitler was not bad man. He is good manager. And it's happened. Something goes wrong, but it because West doing bad. Hitler is okay. Putin himself, you can find this in newspaper and TV, said how smart was Goebbels and how right he is doing. You maybe know Zhirinovsky, which is terrible, not nationalist, Nazist, and her party in Duma. And he has good support. And you know, Russian programs, state programs, pro-Kremlin, which all the time talk about turn United States in nuclear ash. This is a Russian media. So Russia became country with many citizens, became like a zombie. It's not like my opinion or Ukrainian opinion. It's opinion even Russian who didn't live for a long time in Russia. And this country became like very dangerous, not only for Ukraine. This is a country dangerous for all the world. Because now Putin and company talk about problem in Estonia, where some Russian-speaking population, and they say we're ready to defend them. Keep in mind, Estonia is NATO member. I wonder how will NATO reaction. I know reaction now. NATO bring more and more airplane, soldier and technique to this border. Maybe you know, then Russian airplane goes to Alaska and everywhere. By the way, Russian remembers that Alaska is former Russian territory. Russian airplane was in several, in England, in Norway, and some in other countries. In many countries, Russian airplane crossed the border. You know, recently they didn't find completely, but they make many picture a Russian submarine next to Holland. And Putin creates situation which he must win. If no, now state keep and look his authority because he always win. And when he makes step back, he could lose his power. So it push him continue and continue and continue. And it's a very dangerous situation again. It's absolutely the same situation which were before World War II. And I think something goes differently. But a respectful lecture, when somebody asks him how he see solution this problem, he said, "Oh, it must Obama and Putin sit together and decide how Ukraine continue. It must be federalization, it must be this, and must be this, and must be this." So Ukraine doesn't exist. It's exactly what happened with Czechoslovakia. When England, France, and Germany decide what Czechoslovakia must do, not ask people, not ask president, not ask nothing. As a result, Chamberlain came to England and said, "I brought you peace." But Churchill said, "We were in a situation where our choice, war or lost our dignity. We choose lost our dignity. We got terrible war." I think history should teach something people like this lecture. I'm very disappointed that so good, great university, which I respect very much, give what this guy. Again, I'm not against that everybody should have own opinion. But when you, for your opinion, play this fact like this card, this is not a question of opinion. This is a propaganda. I tell you another issue. He said, Ukraine cannot do anything itself because Ukraine has no any sources. It's terrible poor country with high level of corruption. Yes, this is a country with high level of corruption, and this evolution, one of the goal to stop this corruption. Now government inviting foreign reformator, and particularly from Georgia and from another foreign country to help them. Yes, this is a country poor enough. But it's a completely lie that Ukraine has no sources and need all the time support. Ukrainian land is the best in Europe and one of the best in the world. When Germany catch Ukraine in World War II, they begin to put Ukrainian soil in wagon and transport in Germany. Ukrainian feed all Soviet Union all the time till in 16 they begin to Kazakhstan and another place to use. This is a Ukrainian farmer potential. Ukraine still produce in Dnepropetrovsk everything. Then most terrible Russian missile called Satan could fly. All engine and another equipment goes from Dnepropetrovsk even now. Russia asked and warning Ukraine this documentation for this not go anywhere to United States or to another or China. This is a level of Ukraine engineering. All Russian helicopters, including military, use engine which produce in Ukraine cities Zaporozhye and Philly and branches. This is the next. Ukraine has almost everything. They have coal, they have metal, they export a lot of metal things, and so they have many factories. Ukrainian science on a good level, much better than in Russia now. Ukrainian has no good government. And now Ukrainian people want to rebuild their country. And Russia bring war. Why? On the same reason why they bring war to Georgia. And what means federalization? Ukrainian government offer, please, you have full autonomy, except one. You have no autonomy to work directly with foreign country. This is not Switzerland. This is a Russian goal to put in Donbass federalization and make contact and all the time keep fire next to terrible explosion thing. In case if Ukraine do something Russian don't like, this is all the time threat Ukraine. This is a good mean federalization in Russia. Russian doesn't want federalization. Everything else Ukraine put on the table. And who now in Donbass area in charge? All Russian citizens. Who began this war? It was leader for a long time on Donbass, Girkin. Now Russia withdraw him in Russia, and he make an interview, and he openly said, me and my team create war on Donbass. And he in detail tell everything. If dear elector want, I give him material. I give him reference or link. But seems to me it's his job. So again, I'm very disappointed. And if I listen to this lecture, it's okay. But it was big hall full of Missoulian. I cannot to say I acting well, because I two times, I interrupt this guy for a short time, and after end, I talk for 3 minutes, and I said my opinion that he is completely liar, completely pro-Russian, completely not objective, completely doesn't bring full amount of information that people who in this hall could think themselves. So it seems to me that people who organize this lecture should be very careful. Of course, I will try inform friend of mine, and maybe they inform Ukrainian government somehow. I don't know reaction, but it's supposed to be known. And maybe, I know university is independent, but open propaganda, it's not way for knowledge. If he bring fact and give us analysis, or he could say, okay, who has another opinion? When we discuss this, that people listen different side, it's another question. But it's terrible issue. I don't know my reaction. I don't know what I do. I maybe talked or in university with some authority or this, because this is a very, very strange. I have many another question. By the way, this summer will be in Missoula, a friend of mine from not Georgia itself, but from Ontario, which I talk about, one of these 3 enclaves. And if somebody want, they can meet him and talk to him directly. If you want to talk to Ukrainian people, please, I can organize this or give you so many sites or in another way. But this, if you want to visit Ukraine, please, and you will see that this is a very peaceful people. You can speak in any language, nobody tell you anything. They not hate somebody. It's absolutely false. What they want to give them peace, and they want to build country which has no corruption, and they want to be absolutely democratic country, and they want to be part of European family. Ukraine is in center of Europe. My name is Borris Soukonnikov. My telephone number 549-0503. My email Borris Soukonnikov, BORISSOUKONNIKOV @gmail.com. If you want, if you have any question, if you want contact, if you want material, I didn't prepare for this speech, but if it's necessary, if somebody invite me, I'll be with all the fact, and I will not to tell what I don't know. Thank you very much.